can be hard being a Christian in modern Britain. Week after week on this show, we see cases of Christians compelled to speak against their consciences or censored for expressing their faith. We've seen a vicar debanked and Christians prosecuted for the thought crime of praying not out loud, but in their own heads because of new censorship zones around abortion facilities that criminalise silent, private prayer. Christians across the globe face often violent persecution, but are met with deathly silence here in the West. That said, Christ did tell his followers in Matthew 10, "You will be hated by all for my name's sake." In Matthew 5, that men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil things against you falsely. Or in Luke, that men shall hate you and shall separate you from their company. The Church of England's leadership seems to be running arms open wide to embrace any and all fashionable ideas and ideologies with no consideration for preserving their own inheritance, the truth, or protecting traditional believers. In fact, under their leadership, it's seeming less and less like a church at all. As Reverend Daniel French pointed out yesterday on Twitter, the church advertised themselves like a quasi-undertakers talking about last goodbyes instead of the life eternal and the resurrection of the dead. French calls it theological nonsense, but that seems to be the modus operandi of whoever is doing their PR. A brief segue. Let's take a look at news from Winchester this week, from that great ancient cathedral city. The old minster there was erected in 648 AD. Alfred the Great named it the capital of the ancient kingdom of Wessex, and in many ways it could be said to be the birthplace of England, born of Alfred's imagination and resolve. But it's 2023, and this week it was reported that the Lib Dem-run Winchester City Council has imposed a 710% hike on Sunday parking charges, all part of reaching net zero. Fees for Sunday, now for 4 hours, have risen from £2 to £17. Air quality doesn't care which day of the week it is, they said. Some are concerned that the elderly won't be able to afford to pray. One gentleman compared it to the Soviet Politburo, saying they implement any scheme they wish and appear accountable to nobody. Winchester Cathedral so far hasn't commented, but I think it's fair to say that Winchester City Council will find plenty of allies among the bishops. Not too long ago, Synod discussed the potential of human composting, as disgusting as that sounds, as a low-carbon alternative to burial and cremation. Extinction Rebellion, who we've seen parading through Bristol Cathedral, seem to be more welcome than traditionally minded Christians. Like Coutts Bank, who recently debanked Nigel Farage, the Church of England are signed up to the UN's principles for responsible investment. And the Church, the Church commissioners, like Coutts, who handle the Church's investment portfolio, are, to quote their website, committed to incorporating environmental, social and governance issues into our approach to investment. That is ESG. Now, we'll come back to this a little bit later in the show, but for now, that E seems to be widely understood as anything to do with reaching net zero, while the S has everything to do with implementing equality, diversity and inclusion policies, understood through the filter of critical race theory, or as has come to be known outside of academia, wokeness. In Matthew 6, Christ says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other." I am beginning to wonder whether the Church of England is struggling with its allegiance. Either it can choose the dominant political philosophy of the day and all that entails, or it can have the gospel and defend the faith. But it can't have both.